black British music.
Yo, what you saying, man? Weather and that. Not gonna lie, don't play football. There's hella rain on the way. Oh man, it's a big day. Reffing my first major game. What do you think, honey? Shall I wear my red tie or my blue tie? A, you don't need a tie. You're a referee. B, are you not seeing the television right now? So you're saying we shouldn't play football at all? No, you will die. Right, yeah. Like so dead. Listen, Brenda, nothing is gonna stop me from doing my job. Fuck, man, I really should have let it stop me. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This is of course the series where I bring to you the best, and more frequently the worst, of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, I'm sure everything's absolutely fine in America right now. The US believe they found the cause of autism, paracetamol. Fucking hell, this country's fucked.
For me, I can't do it.
You can't!
According to President Donald Trump, cases have risen to 1 in 31 in recent years, meaning the president has a 3.2% chance of having autism, or a 100% chance of being on the Epstein file. US medical ads are about to go crazy, guys, I can't lie. Have you got a headache? Then try Tylenol. If you want to get fucking Lyme disease also. To be honest, I can't take medical advice from a country whose Secretary of Health looks like he was put together by candle wax that was left on the floor. The actual reason is there's been a lot more awareness over the last 15 to 20 years, and it's much more widely accepted than it was, say, 50 years ago. And that's absolutely fine. It gives us the best football player the world's ever seen. Anyway, on to the football now, and it's been a big week, so we need a bigger shot. We're heading to France. This week saw the announcement of your 2025 Ballon D'Or winner. All the stars were taken to the stage, except for the ones that were locked in Florentino Perez's sex dungeon. And supporters were in attendance too. One Chelsea fan giving it large to Victor Gyökeres.
You'll never sing that! You'll never sing that! You'll never sing that! Champion! Chelsea! Chelsea! Chelsea!
The Swedes' response, though, even more mental.
Fuck Chelsea, pussy, or what? Say so.
He would ultimately get the last laugh, though. Victor Gyökeres winning the Gerd Muller Award for the best striker in world football. A great award for him to win, but get ready to learn trophyless, buddy. Either way, there was more bad news for the Blues, Paris Saint-Germain being awarded the best club in the world. What do Chelsea fans even have now, mate? Gianluigi Donnarumma, meanwhile, won the Yashin Trophy. Not that fraud, Emi Martinez. Aye, football is healing, guys. Now, Emi Martinez hasn't won any trophies, but I'll be hoping to once I finish building my so-rare team. My knee injury, it might have stopped me from winning the Ballon d'Or, but I'll be hoping to win some different prizes with a team that I'm building over on So-Rare. So-Rare is the fantasy football game where you can buy players for a five-a-side squad, and what they do out on the pitch can earn you prizes, including kits, tickets to games, and also the opportunity to meet some footballing legends. Today, I'm building a five-a-side squad that I hope can bring me success, but the added twist is I can't choose top 6 clubs. So first of all, we're going with a shot stopper that started the season well. It's Nick Pope over at Newcastle. The Magpies, they haven't rolled over once this season, except for in the transfer window. I'm hoping that Pope can answer my prayers. Into defense now, and we're heading over to Crystal Palace. At a point of recording this, they're 17 games unbeaten in all competitions, and a big part of that has been Mark Gahey at the back. Now, this man might sign for Liverpool in the future, but he's definitely getting a big move, which is going to make him even more expensive later down the line. I'm thinking for the future, lads. Into midfield, though, we're going a little bit rogue. An underrated star, in my opinion, of Everton's squad this season has been James Garner. He's pretty cheap as well, and he's been racking up points. West Ham next, are you crazy? Then I've got 2 final slots, and they are going to forwards. First of all, it's not going to surprise you, Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo. The guy's been absolutely on fire, and I expect that form to continue. And back at Everton, we're going with Iliman Ndiaye. A decent budget squad that you can afford. If you go down into the description, click my link, and you'll get an exclusive £150 welcome offer. Go down there and play So-Rare for yourselves. Now though, on to the main event. I turn up on my team with a legendary 3rd consecutive Ballon d'Or Feminin. Meanwhile, the list was slowly being revealed for the men's side. Vinnie Jr said he'll do this shit 10 times if he has to. He meant 10 times further away from being on the podium.
Easy top 3. If I'm not 60!
I just know Rodri was loving the sight. I've got to say here, Pedri not even cracking into the top 10 after his consistency last season is an absolute joke, to be honest with you. He might need to sue L'Equipe, and Harold Kane does as well. Bro won the first trophy of his life and ended up further away. What kind of precedent does this set to society? I've given up hoping that Mo Salah will win the Ballon d'Or or he'll just get disrespected anyway. But his North African counterpart Achraf Hakimi's in for a shot when he realises that his mum is getting his medal instead of him.
Achraf Hakimi is playing 4D chess.
Hakimi, though, would be one of 3 PSG players making a difficult decision before the ceremony, because the weekend before, Paris Saint-Germain was supposed to be playing against Marseille in Le Classique. However, the game had to be called off due to ridiculous thunderstorms in Paris, and in the infinite wisdom of people from France, they decided to move the game to the Ballon D'Or ceremony. A Ballon D'Or ceremony that could see one of their players very easily win it. Their under-15s were having a tough time playing against Marseille because their entire squad had to go to the Ballon d'Or. No bother though for Dembele and co as they were watching the game mid-ceremony. Marseille were 1-0 up, and for some reason that enraged Roberto De Zerbi, who ran onto the pitch and got himself sent off. We don't even have that many criminals, bro. Yeah, you're just lying now. Get out of it. And HMP Marseille would hold on for a victory here, celebrating, I assume, by breaking multiple catastrophic laws across the country. Then again, that's what France do when they're celebrating something, so at least it was worth defeat though for PSG when Ousmane Dembele took that ball. Yeah, I realise I probably could have phrased that a little bit better. Ousmane Dembele sent Lamine Yamal back to the La Masia sweatshop with an incredible result that really nobody could have seen coming if you'd asked them a year ago. I made a full video about the Ballon d'Or that you can check out here, and it saw PSG and Barca legend Ronaldinho announcing Dembele as the winner, only I'm sure for the Frenchman to get instantly injured as soon as he went up onto the stage. Meanwhile, it really got all of French football up in unison. PSG ultras were letting off fireworks outside of the building. Former PSG man Lionel Messi was congratulating him over on Instagram. Young PSG fans were celebrating his victory, as well as players in the youth academy of his first club, who I'm sure will be using it as an example and an inspiration for themselves to one day be lifting the Ballon d'Or. He was even letting supporters touch it. Like, this is genuinely a Ballon d'Or for the people. All I'm saying is Anthony Martial still got a chance, guys. Don't write him off. Kylian Mbappe's had to watch 2 French teammates win this before he's even had a chance. And it'll be 3 when Martial wins it, I'm telling you. But this didn't go down too well with one individual. Lamine Yamal. Dad. It wasn't. Yamal actually was dealt with it pretty well. Lamine's dad was absolutely raging, saying this is one of the greatest moral damages to a man's character. Oh, well, now it's a great moral damage to his character, then I guess we've got to give it to Lamine, really. This is the Ballon d'Or that the Yamal family were taking home, and Dembele, I'm sure, found it funny in the crowd, watching Lamine's dad crash out here. Send your nan back to the home, bro. You're not winning the Ballon d'Or yet. It's coming in like 2 years. His heat map, unfortunately, did not include the stage for this one. Barcelona fans, I'm sure, are going to be absolutely fuming though with his teammate Rafinha, who seemed very, very happy when Dembele took home the award.
What are you laughing at? What's he laughing at?
The thing is though, look, I've seen a lot of discourse about Lamine Yamal and his inclusion in the top 2 of this Ballon d'Or voting. Now, I've been very vocal in saying I think Yamal's one of the best players in the world already, but top 2, we're begging it a little bit. Like, genuinely speaking, he's not quite there yet. He's going to win loads of Ballon d'Ors in the future, but this seemed a little bit premature to put him there. And in fairness, he dealt with it really well. He congratulated Dembele on stage. He looked gracious in defeat. His dad just kind of ruined it in the aftermath. Look, listen, Lamine's dad, to you, I'm directly addressing you. He's not even the best player at Barcelona, bro. These lot ran an ad campaign for the wrong player. Rafinha was watching on in the background as a year 11 with a crippling alcohol addiction finished above him. For what? The stats that this guy pulled out across the season were an absolute joke. But the man who should be winning it, there's no doubt in my mind. Now, Dembele and Yamal, dribblers. Much like Manchester United and Chelsea, but for different reasons. They faced off in the Premier League this week, and going into this, United fans probably looked at their fixture schedule, realised that it actually involved some football, and threw themselves off their local B&Q. At least, though, there'd be some light relief in the form of comedy from their manager.
There's a lot going on at the club, but everybody kind of focuses on you. Could you just tell us what you spoke about with him?
New contract he was offering me.
Not too sure that was a clever move.
Yeah, probably the only relief they need now is that of the pavement underneath the B&Q. Anyway, both sides were set. Probably set 8, to be honest, but they were set regardless. The floodlights were on, the rain was pouring down, and by the time I'd finished this sentence, Bob Sanchez had sent Mbermo to the gulag. He was red carded after a last man challenge inside 4 minutes, and Chelsea were down to 10. The reverse angle of the challenge, yeah, you ain't staying on, bro.
Whoever's involved in this, stop it.
Any keeper that's played for Forest Green, I'm sorry, they just can't. He was breaking records here, guys. 4 minutes in, 0.1 expected thought, 0 trims received. Enzo Maresca had hair before this game started. Do you understand how crazy that is? Not only that though, Enzo Maresca brought off 2 wingers, even though he only needed to bring off 1 outfielder. Enzo, look, I know there's too many players to count, but you only need 1 substitution. Estebal's highlights, unable to really make an impact. Meanwhile, a slight injury for Cole Palmer, and suddenly it was 3 substitutions made in 20 minutes. This actually gave me the ick of Maresca, like, as a man, not even, like, just as a manager. manager. Bruno Fernandes just about stayed on side though to give United a shock lead before new goalkeeper Jurgensen spent 15 minutes watching the ball in the air, only for it to end up in his own net for 2-0. Casemiro though then realised that a United win would keep Ruben Amorim in a job, and so got himself sent off just before half-time. A red card again. This brother is like on a part-time contract with the amount of time he's suspended. Speaking of jobless though, and one fan did something absolutely disgusting. Our own favourite extremely hairy United fan has been refusing to cut his hair until United win 5 games in a row, was attacked by another United supporter whilst at this game. He's just jealous because he's been doing this challenge for 28 years and he's still bald. Either way, back on the pitch, the rain was tipping down, and to Chelsea fans, that's the reason why they were behind.
We mustn't forget that it's been raining.
Enzo Maresca could be seen throwing some more onto the pitch to try and get it postponed. That's better than any of the players that he put on, honestly. Todd Bowley has got blood on his hands. Billionaires facilitating bad subs. I've seen this script before. But one thing surely on the script as well was Alejandro Garnacho. The man who'd made the move from Manchester United to Chelsea in acrimonious circumstances was sat on the bench. Surely he'd come on, grab a hat-trick and earn Chelsea a 3-2 win. He could be seen observing the tactics Enzo had for him, and they didn't match the script. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Say that you a lesbian, girl, me too.
This brother is the benchmark, and a real emphasis on bench. He had his seatbelt sign on all game. Not safe from bullying even when seated, Alejandro. I'm sorry to tell you, because your Chelsea career is looking long right now. And as he trudged off the pitch after Chelsea's defeat here, he was grilled by Old Trafford. I mean, bold of United fans to be chanting about winning trophies. You're not doing that either. As for Ruben Boko Haramariam, though, he'll be staying for yet another week. Meanwhile, Amad Diallo decided to deactivate his Insta and social media. That's just what playing with Manuel Ugarte will do to a man. Maybe if you learn how to do a bicycle kick correctly, you'd be alright. What's that next in the script, though?
I would like to be a terrorist.
It must mean that Mikel Arteta's next. Arsenal faced a big clash against Manchester City. Going into this one, Mikel Merino and Declan Rice had an unfortunate stat in midfield. When playing together, Arsenal had only won 1 of their last 9 games, which is of course why they started here again. And well, that stat carried on to 10 here as they drew 1-1 v Pep's side. I've got to say though, this one was unfair from the start. Why were there 2 Joško Gvardiols allowed onto the pitch? And things got even better for Man City when Erling Haaland opened the scoring. Gabriel will have been devastated seeing who scored in this one, and to be honest was struggling to catch the Norwegian as he ran in behind. El Humbility had done the job again. Despite this goal though, this is the worst start that Erling Haaland has made to a Premier League season since he joined Manchester City, which is an absolutely bonkers stat considering he's scored a lot of goals already this season. He's fucking shit, mate. Get him out of there. But for the Gunners, thankfully Gabriel Martinelli would save the day here with a lob in the latter stages. Clearly Gianluigi Donnarumma is not huge enough. Victor Gyökeres was doing his best I-show speed impression for the goal, and Arsenal fans are putting forward a Gabriel Martinelli apology form. I ain't signing that shit, bro. He still looks at the ground more than Ange Postecoglou after he's been defeated on FM 26. Pep Guardiola though turned into a different manager altogether. Just 30% possession as he deployed a 5-5-0 against Mikel Arteta. The tables have turned. I'm sure Arsenal fans will be delighted to raise the We Made Man City Ultra Defensive trophy. As for Rodri, now what, mate? You said you hated Arsenal's mentality because they played for a draw. I've seen a lot of grief for Arsenal supporters celebrating and the players celebrating, and look, I hate the celebration police. They've just scored an equaliser in the last minute. Obviously, they're going to celebrate that, but just probably go and grab the ball as well once you're done. At full time, though, when Erling Haaland shed some absolutely abhorrent abuse he received on the team bus after. Everton made the short journey from the Cum Dickinson area, whatever it's called, to Anfield for the Merseyside derby. Their contingency plan was set ahead of clamping Alexander Isak, but given he didn't start, maybe they should have spent their plan on their own striker. Beto played like he was Idris Elba in this one, and that contributed to Liverpool winning 2-1 to maintain a 100% record this season. Gravenberch, give him the Ballon d'Or now.
He's the best football player in the world.
But the result left a sour taste in the mouth for Jack Grealish, who said that he'd never seen a referee give a yellow card to someone for a quick free kick, like happened in this one and given to Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. And to be honest, I have to agree, I thought the referee was absolutely shit in this game, and I haven't seen 3 minutes of injury time after a second half since like 2009, bro. The injury time has been revealed for Liverpool games this season. In the Fructose Fiasco Trophy now, and the Reds, well, we done it again. We once again made life difficult for ourselves before coming back and being victorious and progressed to the 4th round of the Carabao Cup, with Alexander Isak scoring his first Liverpool goal. I did the celebration Premonition, fam. I've got chills. Southampton would then equalise before Ekatike won it and took his shirt off, only to get a second yellow card. Now, finally, we know what this man's actually terrified of. You killed the man, but not the idea, bro. This is the most Darwin Núñez thing that's happened since the Uruguayan left the club. Then again, Darwin wouldn't score the goal. So actually, in reality, Hugo's 2 brain cells were not enough to do the job under these circumstances. Jeremy Frimpong knew what was coming mid-celebration, and Arnie Slot couldn't quite believe his eyes. He did not want to be part of the Sugarcane Showdown award, bro. Like, he just doesn't care about this competition. I've got to say, Southampton, I thought they were really, really good in this game compared to how they're doing in the Championship. I mean, they really took the game to us. Someone else good in this game, though, Giovanni Leone. The Italian 18-year-old centre-back looked comfortable on the ball and dealt with everything. Absolutely exceptional debut, only to then go and tear his ACL at the end of the match. So the kid's basically out for the entire season already, which is disastrous for us after not signing Mark Gahey in the summer. We've got no centre-back cover now, and it's just depressing for a kid who started off so well in his first game. His counterpart, though, Federico Chiesa, a much more positive day for him. I'm here for this redemption arc, lads. Chelsea are going to need a redemption arc soon, though. They went 1-0 down to League One Lincoln City in the cup.
That is a bad one.
These lot look knackered already. This Jurgensen fella in goal, by the way, is not good, fam. He strikes confidence into attackers. Look at Enzo Maresca's face as Lincoln took the lead here. Either that or that's just him watching Alejandro Garnacho play football. Garnacho's gone from getting grief every week just to go and sit on Chelsea's bench and still get grief every week. At least Chelsea came back to win this one, but very concerning scenes, I gotta say. Now, back in the Prem, and Brighton drew 2-2 with Tottenham. Gigi Vicario's what's-it hands were the difference here for Ayari's strike, who I think is one of the most underrated midfielders in the league. I love him. The first goal was a bit of a catastrophe too, with Christian Romero just deciding to give up on trying to block Minte's shot when he went round the goalkeeper. There was at least some creativity coming from Bergvall from a corner, only his decision to go round the back of the net apparently is an illegal move in the game of football. Meanwhile, Xavi Simons came on and changed the game. They've got to start him at a 10 more often. Elsewhere, and Bournemouth drew 0-0 with Newcastle. Anyway, Aston Villa would draw against Sunderland. They're still winless this season in all comps. Morgan Rogers got absolutely clamped by a Sunderland defender in this one. For me, a good challenge, but he was left complaining on Instagram. And Villa's fall-off needs studying, genuinely. They were going toe-to-toe with the Champions League winners a few months ago. Now they're relegation candidates. They are at least above West Ham in the Lucas Paqueta custody battle.
Half enough, half shit. And I've said, wake the fuck up.
At Burnley, they decided that fucking up a game immediately at least avoids the heartache of conceding a last-minute penalty. These are heading back to the Championship, lads. I hate to break it to everybody. Along with them, Wolves, who conceded to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for fuck's sake. Wolves fans even more fuming when they boot up FC 26 and see their bottom of the table in that alphabetically as well. Meanwhile, Crystal Palace defeated West Ham. There's no real surprise there. What is a bit more surprising is Tyreek Mitchell scoring a weak foot volley. He forgot to celebrate, fam. This is who West Ham are losing to, by the way. And back at Chelsea, with Mikhailo Mudryk inspired by his doping ban, he's decided he's going to get into a sport where it's much more widely accepted. Athletics. 90 M's Chelsea spent on this guy, and he wants to run 100. Now then, in Italy, and Lazio faced off against Roma in one of the fiercest derbies across the entirety of Europe. For that reason, 1,500 police officers would be in attendance to control crowds. A crowd that includes ultras from other clubs. I honestly had no idea this was a thing, right? Why, who the fuck invited Levski Sofia, bro? West Ham ultras are here because there's no atmosphere at their actual stadium. Either way, they saw brilliance as Roma were victorious here thanks to Lorenzo Pellegrini, who was almost sold over the summer, winning it for Roma. It also featured one of the most egregious dives from Matteo Guendouzi that I've ever seen in my entire life. It gets a 6.5 from me, and he would also get sent off for it as well. Roma fans were having fun across the city, going into an Apple shop and changing all the wallpapers around. Lazio denied a last-minute equaliser by the woodwork here too. You are one supporter. Hey, yo, what did you call me? I knew Lazio were right-wingers, but fucking hell. Apparently the law here is that this guy scored a legendary own goal in favour of Roma, and so it's actually probably a Roma supporter wearing the shirt. Shithousery award, if true. That one's all down to Falco, who is one of the best researchers for this series I've ever seen. Shout out to him, and shout out to everybody else who sends stories for this. I see all of your tweets. You guys are the real heroes. Down in Serie B, and Empoli were drawing 0-0 to Pescara. Empoli's manager pulled out some rosary beads. Yeah, he needed help from the Lord above. Do you know what the Lord gave to him? A 4-0 defeat. They conceded 4 goals as soon as he brought them out, fam. Oh, what, you want to pray to me now? After you did your tax return later? Suck them on, bro. Meanwhile, at AC Milan, and Christopher Nkunku grabbed his first goal since joining the club from Chelsea. That balloon from his celebration, it's been in his sock since 2021. Meanwhile, in Serie C, and Crotone have been placed under a judicial administration for a whole year because the police believe they have found enough evidence to link them to the mafia. Only in Italy, man. I mean, clearly the mafia involvement isn't going all that well if they've ended up down in Serie C. In Germany, though, and things are going unbelievably well for Bayern striker Harry Kane, who saw the Ballon D'Or results and took them personally. This man has got 16 goal contributions in 7 games and he's on a 9.24 average rating to start the season. Fucking hell. Now, though, it's time for a completely new segment, one that I'm extremely excited for, and this is Advice with Victor Boniface. Yep, today we're here in the therapy room to sit down and really look introspectively and understand the greater, wiser meanings of life itself. And to do that, to my side is Victor Boniface, who said this: disrespecting your body and wasting your money with different girls won't get you anywhere in life. Find yourself 1 girl or 2 girls and settle down. Highest 3 girls. Or if you're going through a lot, 4 is okay. Honestly, I'm noting this one down. We might as well round it up to 5 at this point. But take about Noah Atubolu, who plays for Freiburg, who's made history in Germany. He saved the last 5 penalties in a row that he has faced. This man is a brick wall when someone puts the ball down 12 yards from goal. That is genuinely insane. In Spain, and Marcus Rashford, off the back of an impressive display in a brace against Newcastle, ended up getting benched for Barcelona's league game this week because he was 2 minutes late to training. That's an hour and 2 minutes later than the time the boss told him, knowing him. He would get on, though, and get another goal contribution in this one, as one fan ran onto the pitch with a Palestine flag as a ball went into the back of the net. One great goal here, to be fair, was scored by Barcelona, including a Dani Olmo back heel. Lovely bit of play. One man who won't be involved in that play for the foreseeable future is youngster Gavi, who once again has picked up a nasty knee injury and is requiring surgery on his meniscus. I actually feel awful for the kid. He's been overworked at such a young age, and injuries could genuinely kill him. In a slightly more feel-good story, which does in fairness start with tragedy, one Moroccan fan by the name of Abderrahim Ouida, he unfortunately lost his family in the 2023 Moroccan earthquakes that tragically hit the nation. He was filmed directly in the aftermath of the earthquake striking his neighborhood, in which he lost both his parents, his siblings, so basically his entire, close family. In the video, he was wearing a Real Madrid shirt, and Real Madrid as a club saw this and decided to invite him to the Bernabeu, where he was able to meet all the Real Madrid players, and I think even kicked off the game as well. Obviously a small gesture in the grand scheme of everything that's gone on, but I'm sure one that made pretty much the happiest day of his life. So fair play to Real Madrid on that one. In France, meanwhile, Timothy Weah's booted up FC 26, and he's not enjoying the Timothy Weah that he's seeing in game. And shout out to Ansu Fati, once again some heartwarming stuff, who after a pretty tumultuous last few years, struggling to break into Barcelona's team, struggling with injury, a loan spell at Brighton that didn't go how he planned. He's now gone over to Monaco and he scored a brace and a 5-2 win in Ligue 1. Paul Pogba said he saw it coming. Now, though, time for your goals of the week, and boy, I have got a screamer with a story for you to start off with. We head to Brighton, first of all, who have performed their usual trick of scouting the Paraguayan 11th division for an ex-player they can sell to Chelsea for 150 mil. This time, it's Diego Lopez, who they brought in recently. He scored a goal against Tottenham at the end of last season, but he scored a hat-trick against Barnsley in the Carabao Cup this week, including this absolutely mental strike from a different postcode. He couldn't have hit it cleaner if his boots were made of Sillet Bang, and he scored 4 goals in this game as well. All I know is that Barnsley as an establishment were telling him to ease up later on in the game. And the second goal of the week is an absolute screamer coming from Rayo Vallecano, where Pep Chavarria picked up the ball, from a little pass sideways in the middle of the park. He's got it out of his feet and absolutely thwacked it on his left foot into the top corner. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Dear basketball, from the moment I started rolling my dad's tube sock.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Now, Andrea Onana may have had a difficult time at Manchester United. He's attempting to make Turkey his home. He had a pretty good start to his life at Trabzonspor. apart from making a mistake for the goal that lost them the game. But this week, he's not just stopping goals, he's creating them. Andre Onana grabbed himself an assist in just his second game in Turkey. Are you telling me a Manchester United reject goalkeeper's got more goal contributions than Wirtz this season, bro? There was chaos in Russia for centre-back Nader Gantry. He was playing for Akhmat Grozny against Zenit St. Petersburg when he was given a second yellow card. Now, he was disappointed with this, but he accepted the fact that he'd been sent off and so decided to throw his shirt into the crowd for a supporter, only for him to have to go and get it back again because VAR deemed that he shouldn't have been sent off in the first place, and now he didn't have a shirt to play the rest of the game in. In the end, the fan was nice enough to throw it back, and Nader got pictures with that supporter after full time. Cristiano Ronaldo scored this week in Saudi Arabia in Al Nassr's 5-1 win in the league. Only opposition supporters were chanting for Messi. His reaction was, well, to score against them. That'll have told all 378 fans that were in attendance for this game. Over at Freiburg versus Basel in the Europa League, and I'm not being funny, this goal line technology might be the closest I've ever seen. This isn't a goal, but it's also not a goal. Just like, you have to replay the whole action and just see what happens, because this can't be decisive. In Brazil, we've got a glitch in the matrix with some in-sync management down on the touchline. And speaking of management, well, Rangers aren't too happy with theirs. Russell Martin has not won the supporters over yet. Their actual ultras section, or the die-hard Rangers fans, already hate him. And so they staged a protest outside of the ground and then inside of the ground, throwing bouncy balls onto the pitch to get it suspended for a second, and also holding up banners. I mean, imagine being in your technical area, looking over and seeing that he's a stronger man than me. I'd walk out there and then. Actually, I'd substitute on the under-14s, have them lose the game 7-0, and then I'm out of there. In Africa now, and we've got one of the strangest scenarios that I've seen in a while. We've got a goalkeeper here in a game that's 1-1. Now, at some point during this match, for whatever reason, he's had a disagreement with the manager. I don't know whether it be because the manager feels like he was at fault for one of the goals, maybe he's not playing out from the back well enough, but either way, this shot stopper is absolutely not having it. And so he's decided to protest mid-game, and he's not being a goalkeeper anymore. He decided to leave his goal open and lean by the goal frame. Now, at this point, I know what you're thinking. You know, the manager brings him off. No, the manager's just as stupid as he is. He decides to lead this goalkeeper on as his defenders are struggling to sweep up and deal without actually having anyone in between the sticks, and their opponents are trying to score. The incredible thing is that during this entire phase, they managed to keep a clean sheet. So you've really got to ask yourself, was the goalkeeper the problem? When he was actually playing the game, they conceded, and when he stopped, they kept a clean sheet. Now, we had to stop playing football up in Blackburn as well. Their championship game was postponed after it became extremely waterlogged. There was a lot of storms and stuff across the northwest of the country. Again, we saw it in Manchester United versus Chelsea, but it was unbelievably extreme in Blackburn's game. I mean, the ball just wasn't moving. Better to say the pitch inspection, yeah, it got a U. It didn't even get into the exam room, mate. Down at Wycombe Wanderers, and they were left searching for a new official after a linesman went down injured 7 minutes into the game in their League One clash. I mean, how's a lino getting injured after 7 minutes, bro? Do your warm-ups. There was some wholesome stuff from Robbie Savage, who's the manager of Forest Green. He saw a young supporter in the stands who was clearly very passionate, lifted him over the ad boards, and decided to get him to lead the claps for the rest of the supporters. It's absolutely adorable, and a moment I'm sure he'll never forget. Meanwhile, 37-year-old winger Albert Adoma grabbed himself a goal for Walsall. He celebrated in the style of an old man. He's still got it, though. At Brighton, and look, listen, lads, we've got to bring back normal shin pads. This can't be allowed. Bro's put a jelly bean down there. What's going to happen if he gets clamped, mate? There were disgraceful scenes at Yeovil Town where Kyle Ferguson was shown a yellow card by the referee for holding up his hands that indicated the scoreline, that they were winning 4-0. Given a yellow card for inciting fans, bro, the game is gone. Perhaps the most EFL thing of all time happened this week as the Birmingham City fan group decided to do a paid meet and greet with some Birmingham players. That seems all right, you know, it's a fan group and it's the players. Everyone gets to meet their heroes, except they did overlook one slight thing, and that's they didn't actually ask the club first. In Czechia and in the cup over there was a massive upset as reigning holders Sigma Olomouc were actually knocked out by 4th division side Novi Sadi. This was in the round of 32. Crazy thing is that Novi Sadi is actually part of Olomouc, like it's within the region. Dutch amateur side SV Borja were looking for 300,000 euros. They need to raise some money to build a new clubhouse. They decided to do this in a very unique and creative way by holding a lottery for a Ferrari. You need to buy tickets, obviously, to enter, and thankfully, down to some national media attention, they managed to raise 550,000 euros instead. There's some brilliant parenting going on at Brazil for one dad who's decided to get his kid into Vasco da Gama, doing a little TikTok trend and getting her firmly into the stands. There were goals galore across Europe as Club Bruges and Westerlo played out a 5-5 draw, where Westerlo scored the equaliser in the 98th minute whilst having their goalkeeper forward, and the same scoreline happened over at Kilsas versus Sarpsborg, and that one had to go to penalties where it was almost 5-5 again. At Cockburn City in Austria, Australia, and a goalkeeper saved a penalty in a shootout that's won his side the game and has decided to give it back to the supporters, who I'm sure were giving him grief during the game. Playing for Cockburn City and needing to use your hands, those crazy work. That could never be me, personally. Why? In Mexico, and I'm not sure what's driving their supporters to being clowns to games. Welsh club Llantwit Major are very well known for having mental football kits. They've had some crazy ones, including a Mr. Blobby kit back in the day. Their goalkeeper kit for this season is just as ridiculous. In Estonia, and Flora Tallinn's women's side lost their first league match since 2021 this week. A winning run that's gone on for 4 years was finally ended with a 1-0 defeat. In Kenya, and Police FC were facing off against Mogadishu from Somalia in the CAF Champions League. A Somalian flag was waved in front of them and police supporters weren't too pleased. Surely police supporters are just the rest of the police, isn't it? Just arrest them if you're actually that annoyed about it. Meanwhile, one president of an Albanian club got the wrong end of the stick, quite literally, when he thought that a small miniature camera pointing at him was in fact a gun, and punched a journalist over it. Now that it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is the segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football, and this time we have got one hell of an introduction. It's not ideal to end up on the bench at Sunday League. You get your shin pads on, you travel to the game, only to realise you're not even getting involved. So you've really got to make an impact when the manager does entrust you onto those beautiful blades of grass, or you could just get nutmegged straight away. Yeah, nah, bring him back off again. If it was Enzo Maresca down there. On to the weird stuff though now. First of all, we head to Mongolia, where we got a tale of two halves. Two sides here in the Mongolian Premier Division are facing off against each other, and at half-time it's been a pretty bland 0-0 affair. So you'd imagine it's going to be pretty cagey and tight in the second half. Well, clearly one of these teams put out a completely different side for the second 45 minutes, because they'd somehow concede 10 goals and lose 10-0 by the end. There's the incredible story of a side from Pakistan that managed to trick an entire country. A fake Pakistani team travelled all the way to Japan. This team had no footballers in whatsoever. They forged their documents, turned up with full football gear, showing invitations and apparently clearance from the Pakistan football authorities, only to be later deported out of Japan. The final story, unfortunately, is one of tragedy, and it comes from the lower leagues of English football, where I want to extend my love and thoughts to the family of Billy Vigor, a young footballer, a young former Arsenal Academy player who, at the age of 21, passed away this week after being put in an induced coma for a significant head injury that he suffered whilst playing for Chichester City. This is absolutely awful. I mean, 21 is absolutely no age whatsoever. This happened in a game between Chichester City and also Wingate and Finchley. They were playing at Wingate and Finchley. I don't want to attribute blame, because this is the case across like a lot of stadiums in lower league football. But basically, he collided with a concrete wall that's laid out along the side of the stadium. And for me, in this day and age, in 2025, there is absolutely no way we should be using concrete walls as the equivalent of an ad board, you know, or advertising hoardings. But if you want to, and you want to contribute to hopefully some change in actual safety standards at that level, you can go down to the description and you can find a petition calling for the FA to ban concrete walls being laid out along the side of football pitches across the country, because that is absolutely insane. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to hit the like button, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.